Welcome everyone. My name is Barbara Foster. I'm the reptile curator at the Greenville Zoo and the chapter coordinator for the Frogwatch researchers of the Greenville Zoo. As volunteers, you guys are going to help us collect some data tonight. We're going to do some citizen science and record whatever species of frogs that we hear. So let's go. The Greenville Zoo began a Frogwatch chapter about, it's been 8 years ago. So this is our 8th season of monitoring. And we found out about Frogwatch USA because it is run by the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, which we are accredited by, the AZA. We go out at night, a half an hour after sunset, and we monitor for the breeding calls of frogs and toads. And we involve volunteers to help scientists understand about the populations of the frogs at that park.
My name is Sonia Dunham, and I am a frog watcher in Greenville, South Carolina, and I do it with my daughter Elsa, my 10-year-old daughter. So the training involved kind of two components. One was in a classroom where they explained what the program was, give some examples and some pictures of the different species we'd be monitoring for and how actually the data collection happens. And then we actually came out to the park and got to see where the monitoring locations were in the daytime.
When citizen scientists are trained to do Frogwatch data collection, they are asked to submit 4 of their first data collections to their regional coordinator. And then after she approves those 4 data collections, just to make sure we know that we're following the standard protocol that citizen science requires, and to make sure that we're not way off on hearing species, then those citizen science are allowed to enter in their own data. My name is Jennifer Garcia. I'm the Education Program Coordinator at the Greenville Zoo in Greenville, South Carolina. Frog watching equipment's pretty minimal. A lot of times you need a flashlight, you need a thermometer, you need your observation sheet on a clipboard, but we oftentimes now can find it online. So the things needed to monitor, pretty easy.
So we only monitor when the conditions are good for frogs, basically.
So let's check above freezing. And this has probably sat here long enough that we can get our temperature. So let's write air temperature, 52 degrees F.
We want to wait till it is 35 degrees minimum.
We can go ahead and determine our wind speed using the Beaufort wind scale, which is described here. Do you guys want to read that?
It says 0 is calm and smoke rises vertically.
After it gets too windy, they tend not to call as much. So we just basically use our 5 senses of how strong the wind feels on our face, and do we hear leaves rustling or the leaves in the trees blowing or not. And so we kind of take a gauge on that scale how windy it is.
What would you choose? Calm. I think it's calm.
So we just kind of take note of all those conditions before we go out or as we're out to see if it's proper monitoring conditions. So telling the difference between the different frogs based on their calls was a little tricky at first, but the more we've practiced it, the easier and easier it's become to identify them.
Peep, 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 peep. What is that? Spring peepers. Okay. Someone needs to time our 2-minute quiet period, and then we will listen for 3 minutes.
We cup our hands around our ears so we can listen a little better. We stay quiet and just really listen and pay attention to any of the frog calls we might be hearing.
All the lights need to be out. So, what species did you guys hear?
As soon as that 3 minutes is over, then we whip out our flashlights and record everything that we heard. The different species, and there's a scale about how many, if it was just one individual or a full chorus, and all the information like that. So that consistency and that precision is very important as part of that larger study. So going on the Frogwatch monitoring sessions is always a bit of an adventure because you never really know what you're going to experience and what you're going to discover as you collect your data.